Hello, YouTube family, welcome back. Today, I'm sharing my careful pick of three Nigerian stocks that have a high chance of paying dividends at least twice in 2026. I will explain the fundamental and technical reasons. I will also review each company's past dividend pattern, also include recent news and policy context, and finish with risks and how you can track qualification dates. First of all, let me explain what to look for when expecting multiple dividends in a year. When we say a company might pay dividends twice in a year, we usually mean a company may declare an interim dividend during the year and a final dividend after the year end. There are five things that make this likely. The first is dividend history. Companies that have paid both interim and final in the past are much more likely to repeat. Number two is profitability and cash flow. This means that companies with stable positive earnings and healthy cash make multi-pay dividends possible. Number three, capital allocation policy. That's the bank boards often pay interim plus final dividends. Number four, sector dynamics. You need to have in mind that some sectors like banks, consumer staples, and breweries have predictable cash flows and seasonal profits that multiple payouts. And number five is macro and policy environment like interest rates, taxes, and central bank policy affects bank earnings and corporate payout capacity. So I will use these frames for each stock. Before I continue, let me say something real quick, please. This content was made for my community members, but if I eventually makes it public and you found it valuable, please don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel as a way of your love and support towards my work. Thank you so much. So the first stock here is Guaranteed Trust Holding Company, that's GTCO. The reason why I picked GTCO is that historically it's one of Nigeria's most consistent dividend payers and has in recent years paid both interim and final dividends, which makes it a prime candidate to pay at least twice in 2026. This pattern repeated in 2023 to 2025. My two fundamental analysis why I strongly believe GTCO's multiple dividends payments in 2026 are: number one, earnings and payout capacity. GTCO reported strong earnings rebound in recent years with significant net profits and good return on equity for a Nigerian bank. Their payout ratio has been moderate, that's to say it's not zero. This means that the board has room to continue dividends if earnings hold. The second fundamental is balance sheet and liquidity. The bank maintains a solid deposit base and liquidity ratios that allow cash dividends. Please bear in mind that this content is not a financial advice. Instead, it's for educational purpose and for you to have a clue of what I'm researching and looking out for in the market. My technical analysis is one, price action pattern. GTCO often shows rallies around results and ex-dividend dates. And again, if price action is stable or trading up in the board meeting, it often reflects investor confidence in a dividend. Let me talk about the relevant company or sector news. You know that banking sector and interest rates are 5 and 6. Banks benefited from Nigeria's high policy rates over 2023 to 2025 because higher rates widen interest margins on loans and treasury bills. Even when rates begin to moderate, banks with strong fee income and diversified operations can sustain dividends, and GTCO is one of them. Despite all possibilities, there are still risks involved, such as if there are heavy charges to CRR, I mean cash reserve ratio, or if there's an unexpected economic shock that forces large loan loss, or maybe provisions could force a board to conserve cash. And lastly is regulatory moves. So the second stock is Access Holdings PLC. Why I picked Access is that Access is another bank with a clear history of paying more than distribution in a year and has recently been listed to show semi-annual payouts. The bank has shown a semi-annual payment frequency and an attractive dividend yield. Those two facts make it a candidate for at least two dividends in 2026. The two fundamentals I have for Access Bank are cash generation and yield, and secondly, payout ratio. For the cash generation, Access has shown sizable free cash flow in its operating statements and a history of shareholder returns via dividends. While for the payout ratio, recent data shows payout ratios that aren't crippling high. So assets can fund interim and final dividends if the earnings per share is maintained. My technical is chart signals around results. This means that access share price tends to react to earnings and ex-dividend dates. Look for high volume accumulation before board meeting windows. If price shows higher lows into the results window, that can signal expectations of a dividend. Why probability of two dividends in 2026 is high is that Access semi-annual payout history is the core reason. The boards often repeat distribution patterns if the company reports adequate profits. Given their track record and payout policy evidence, there is a reasonable probability of at least two payments in 2026. But the risks are macroeconomic shocks, sharp currency devaluation, or higher provisioning on non-performing loans could reduce dividend capacity. Also watch for one-off special expenses like restructuring or fines. The third stock I have here is Nigerian Breweries PLC. Why I picked Nigerian Breweries because it's a large consumer staple with historically stable cash flows and a record of declaring interim and final dividends in some years. That aside, consumer staples often generate predictable cash flows and can declare interims when mid-year cash is strong. My two fundamentals include revenue and margins, and secondly, payout flexibility. For the revenue and margins, the Nigerian Breweries product portfolio, which is beer and beverages, gives it resilient demand. Margins can be pressured by input costs like sugar, sorghum, packaging, and energy. But the only thing is that scale helps. The company's annual report shows the company is profitable and able to return cash to shareholders via dividends. So as for payout flexibility, when Nigerian breweries has strong half-year profits, they have historically declared interim dividends. That increases the chance of two payments if full-year earnings remain solid. My technical analysis is seasonality and price reaction. Consumer stocks often rally on strong consumption data or distributor restocking seasons. You need to watch volumes around earnings seasons and ex-dividend announcements. Let's talk about the company slash sector news. I have input cost pressures and FX. Nigerian breweries profit is sensitive to local input costs and foreign exchange for imported inputs. Any easing of FX pressure or stable domestic supply improves margins, making interim declarations more likely. Also, the Nigeria tax changes effective January 1st, 2026. Companies must account for those impacts of post-tax profit and dividend policy. And cash generation make a two-pay year possible if 2026 earnings are not hit by severe cost shocks. The tax reform is a wild card. It could change after tax profit figures and therefore the board distributions decision. The risks include commodity prices, exchange rate shocks, distribution disruptions, or a sudden worsening of consumer demand could push the board to conserve cash. So finally, here's how to track and confirm dividend payments and qualification dates. 1. Follow company investor pages. Boards publish notice of board meetings, dividend recommendations, and ex-dividend slash record slash pay dates. 2. Market data services list ex-dividend and payment history so you can see interim versus final patterns. 3. NGX announcements. The Nigerian exchange posts official corporate actions and qualification lists. A quick disclaimer, please. Nothing here is a guarantee. Dividends are declared by company boards and depend on profits, cash, and regulatory constraints. So regardless, always do your own research. But as for me, I have confidence in these stocks that they will pay dividends at least twice a year come 2026. If you'd like to know what I'm researching more in the market, or you want me to hold you by the hands and teach you how to invest in the stock market, and also guide you with expert strategies that will protect your capital as you invest in the market, kindly send me email. The link is inside my channel description and this video description as well to indicate that you're interested. Please don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you again. Invest wisely and stay consistent.